back to my iced coffee. What's a video without iced coffee? None. If anybody ever wants to send me anything, any gift ideas, send me gift cards. Send me gift cards to Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks. I love iced coffee. It's like legit, I've had one every day. Iced coffee's bae. What's up, everyone? It is your girl, Quella.graphiclove, coming to you with another video. I am here because, just being completely transparent, I shot this video maybe like a few weeks back. My camera died and none of it saved. So here I am again recording this video. The shirt I currently have on says Entrevert, and I'll get up a little closer so you guys can see. Entrevert. And pretty much it is a introvert entrepreneur. I know, it's such a cool little term. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's me, that's speaking to me. But I purchased it from a local small business here in my city. She also has an online Etsy shop. So if you guys are interested in the shirt and tons of other cool apparel that she has, I'll leave it down in the description. But I wanted to wear this shirt because I think it fits very well with today's topic, which is something that I'm more than positive I'm not the only one that has this going on in their brain or feels this way. But if anyone hasn't noticed, I am a very multi-passionate person. So for me, multi-passionate, I have a lot of interest. I have a lot of ideas. And so sometimes those ideas can fester into bigger businesses or bigger projects or branch off into their own thing. Or sometimes they just are a great idea for conception, and that's about it. I've always been like this, to be honest. I've always had a lot of ideas and just a lot of things going on in my head. I've always been one that's always on my toes when it comes to ideas and ideas creatively, creative thinking. It's a person who's had a lot of interest and passion in so many things. And it's like, obviously you don't want to be jack of all trades, master of none, but it's like, I kind of want to do everything, although I know I really can't do everything. Not that I can't do everything, but not everything should be done. The basis of this video is I have too many ideas, and what do you do when you're a multi-passionate, multi-interest person? Like, do you just let them fly by? What do you do? I was watching another video that kind of skimmed on this topic, and they presented a really good quote from James Altucher. It says, "Ideas are the currency of the new economy." The reason I really like that because it was a quote that resonated with me, and also that speaks a lot of truth. Like, you can have $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion ideas, but it does get to the point where it comes to execution. Like, okay, that's $1 million moneymaker idea, but how do I do A, B, C, D, whatever? When I was able to finally admit, like, dang, I got a lot of ideas, I got a lot of things that I want to do, I wanted to look up to see if there were any videos on it, like how to manage that or how to properly work at a pace so you don't feel overwhelmed. And I got some really good tips that would be very helpful for me, but I also wanted to share those with you guys because I know that I'm not the only person that is multi-passionate, multi-interested. So the posing question here is, what exactly do you do when you have too many or so many ideas and kind of want to do them all at one time? So number one is stop and breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Get some meditation, get some blood flowing through your veins, some oxygen to your brain, and just stop and breathe so you don't get yourself overwhelmed. Overthink things, have an anxiety attack. And this one is especially for me because I know once I have something that just pops into my brain, or I'm like, oh my goodness, this is something I need to write down. Like, where's my notebook? Just scurrying. So I tell myself, Quella, don't stress out. Just marinate on it a bit. Don't jump from A to Z. Just take your time, because I would sit there and think it into the ground, and it does not help me because I'm trying to figure out every single step, every single process, when I just kind of need to give it some time to just flow through and just let it marinate in my mind and then move forward. So the next step is to write it down. Write it down, whether it be in your phone, notebooks. Like, I have so many of these little notebooks that I get from Dollar Tree. I also get them from Michael's in the dollar section. Target also has their dollar section. Pretty much, I carry them around. This one is full. This one is completely full. This is just a cheap one that I got from the dollar section from Michael's. But what I do is I take my journal, and sometimes it can fit in my purse. Sometimes if it can't, I'll jot it on my phone. If you have any type of piece of pen and paper, I'm just a person that likes to write things down. So I'll write it down. I'll write down like the idea of it. If I don't have a name for it yet, I'll put the date and whatever ideas are currently in my brain, just so I can get it out of my head and onto paper or some reserve space so I'm able to not get overwhelmed, like step one. Once you do write it down or you journal it or put it in your mini notebook, it's really important to look over them and see what resonates with you the most or the best. Which one might need to have priority, but you need to focus on one thing at a time. So if I'm out and about and I'm at like an expo or something and I'm getting idea after idea after idea, what I do is I write them down and I kind of just see, okay, which ones have legs, which ones don't, which need a little bit more time, which might need a bit more thought, or just to have it jotted down so I can get through the thought process before I jump the gun and get myself into something that may have just needed to be like a one-off and not necessarily a full-fledged project or even a full business. And focusing on one at a time also helps you to pace what time you can have to look at the other things. So if you have this one project that's like 2 months that you'll need to dedicate to it versus you have this other one, it'll probably take like a week. Just prioritize the importance it is to you as well as how long it's going to take. So number 3, as I mentioned, you need to really be sure if this is a full business, one-off project, what. You don't want to turn every single idea that comes to you or every single interest that you have or into a business. Like, I'll just use myself, for example. I have a lot of interest in things. I'm interested in music, photography, producing, video editing, fashion. I love writing, creative writing. I'm very much into organization and planning and stuff. And these things are not to be confused with hobbies, because hobbies are different. Hobbies are things that, I'm just going to put both the definition for hobby and the definition for an interest and probably the definition for passion somewhere along this way. But you don't want to get an interest confused with a hobby. For example, I love candles. I love candles. I love candles and hand soaps. I buy them all the time from Bath & Body Works. I have a box full of candles for next year, as well as hand soaps. But I say that to say, I love candles. I love hand soaps. But I don't need to have a candles and hand soaps business. It's something I like. I have a hobby of collecting candles and hand soaps. Do I want to be in the lab creating my own candles and hand soaps? No. See, I hope that kind of clears up when I'm talking about what I referenced earlier. So with this particular idea, does it have longevity or lasting power? If the idea is something that can be very revolutionary, or it might be something for a certain demographic or a certain time period, that is extremely important, because you can go and make this entire business based off of this one trend, and then you realize a few months down the line, it's not popping anymore. It's not trendy. The kids ain't buying it and nobody's selling it. So you've got yourself in this big hole with all this product, and you're just like, man, this could have just been a one-off. This did not need to be a full mega business. I did not need to make it such full scale as I did. Versus longevity would be something that's very innovative, something that can also go with something that already exists. It could be another business format, another blueprint, it goes with something else that it's already functioning now. So that can have longevity. Like if it's something that has to do with phones, electricity, or there's always going to be a need and necessity for this particular thing. So you have longevity with it because the demand is always going to be for this. It's never going to go away. Like if you have an idea to open up a dental shop, people are always going to need dental work. So dental work is not going to be something like, oh, tomorrow people don't need dental work anymore. Like, no, everyone's going to need dental work. And it's like if your service was to kids or your service was to adults, everybody's going to need some dental work. So that is a business model that has longevity where it's not a trend. To piggyback along that, please, 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 please. I know we are in the era of schemes, ploys, pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes. They are rampant. People are trying any and everything to get a quick buck, to get a quick money grab with no type of integrity or intention behind their brand or their business or their purpose. So you have to make sure that you are also not creating something that looks very schemy or that would look gimmicky. A lot of people get caught up in scams, and it's really unfortunate, but just make sure your business is not a ploy that is just self-serving to get you rich and not really helping the end goal, which is the customer or the consumer, or reaching a wider audience or helping people, whatever the direction or the purpose is behind your business or behind your idea. Just make sure that it is truthful and it has integrity. So once you have all those grand ideas, the next thing you're going to wonder about is how much time will I need to dedicate to this? And this one is very crucial because a lot of times when you're in the infancy of your idea, putting it on a larger scale, you will need some means of steady income. So most people usually have a full-time job, or they will have multiple jobs. People are parents. Some people are caretakers. Whatever it is, you have to really make sure that you are allotting your time to even dedicate to this. So you may have to work out a schedule in the beginning, like, okay, I have 2 hours to spare each day to work on this. You can factor that into your schedule, or it could be a thing where you might need to drop a job, make some adjustments. Just really think about how much time is going to be needed and dedicated to that particular thing and that idea, because it can also be a thing of, if you're not dedicating enough time to it, it might slow the process of what you envisioned. And by the time you get halfway through it, you're gonna be like, you know what, I really don't want to do this anymore. I'm not really interested in this. I thought I liked this, but it's just not me. A really good tip that I want to give is sometimes you're good at a lot of things, but just because you're good at it does not, let me stress this, does not mean it needs to be a business. We're in the era where everybody has the small business, everybody has some type of entrepreneur attached to their name. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working for yourself. There's nothing wrong with working for someone. There's nothing wrong with working with a company. None of that. There's no issue with that. But this is kind of where the jack of all trades, master of none comes in, because if you are good at hand stitching and you're good at barbecuing, but you know in your heart, I just like to hand stitch my own things and I just like to barbecue and cook for my own family. That does not mean I need to go have a full fabric business and make my own headscarves and stuff. And it doesn't mean that I need to go have a whole barbecue pit food truck, you know, especially if you know your desire for that thing is not very strong. Like, I love to cook. I love to cook all the time. I love to eat, but I don't want to be a foodie business. I don't want to start cooking meals for people because I just don't really have a interest in it like that. I like doing it, but I like doing it for myself. My sister, for example, she does phenomenal braids. She always braids her own hair. And sometimes it takes her 2 and 3 days just to do it because she has a particular style that she does it. Kid you not, no matter where we go, people are always complimenting how long her braids are, how neat they are, everything. And they're like, oh, do you do hair? Do you do hair? Do you have a business card? Oh, well, you should start doing hair. You know, you have such a good talent, a good work. And my sister's like, I enjoy doing hair, but I just enjoy doing my hair. Like, I don't want to do everybody's hair. I'm not a hairdresser. I'm not a hairstylist. And that's perfectly fine. Actually, that's the best thing to be truthful about, because if you're going to pretend like, oh yeah, I'm good at this and I'm gonna do this too, you're gonna get yourself in a hole that can get you wrapped up in a lot of crazy business legalities. And before you know it, you're just in too deep and you're like, whoo, I need to breathe, Jesus. So this next one I really had to learn myself is the business or the idea or the passion for whatever it is that you're working on, is it scalable? I have had to step back from certain ideas that I really wanted to move forward because I realized at that particular time, I didn't have the moving parts to really get it off the ground like I really wanted to. Meaning my idea would require maybe more people or people who have an expertise in something that I'm not familiar with, or I would have to present it to a corporation or a business or get investors. When you actually sit and think about, man, you know, I'm gonna have to get A, B, C, D, and E, F, G in order for me to even make step A, you're going to stall a bit on the business because it's bigger than you. And I've had several ideas where I just write them down. I write out the business plan, and I always write out business plans for every idea that I have. Well, not everyone, but like for the ones that I know really are going to be something. And I have to really see like, okay, it's just me trying to write this thing out, and you've got employees and payroll, and you gotta get a storefront and all these things. And I'm like, okay, where am I at right now? And what can I do with what I have? So I'm not saying completely abandon ship of the idea, but I'm just saying make sure that the work that you have to do is scalable at the stage you're at. If you're still in stage 1, get your business plan in order. If you have to meet locals, get some locals in order. Start thinking about your brand and your name, logo, all those type of things you can really start looking into to turn into a full-fledged business. One idea that I'm currently executing, and it's a passion project of mine because it's very dear to me and it's very much me. And it's completely in a totally different category sector that I don't have any experience in. What I've been doing is I've been working at a pace that, hey, I know right now I'm able to get the legalities taken care of. I'm ready to get everything that I need on my end done. But when it comes to like the big guys and whoever else is involved, when it comes time to present to them, I will have my stuff together. Even thinking about it, it's very scary. It's new grounds. This is a new challenge for me. I've never done this before, and it's only right. It's only right. So another genius thing that you can do is you can combine ideas. It doesn't hurt to do that because some of them actually go together. Like for instance, if you have an idea for a holistic healing line, you want to have oils and body butters and different like skin type of things. You probably had an idea for, I want my own skincare line, or, I want my own, holistic healing brand, or like I mentioned. And those two actually go together. You'll be killing 2 birds with 1 stone with that. But not everything can go together. Say I'm an electrician. I'm an electrician, but I also have an idea to have a donut truck. Donut truck, electrician, how does that go? Like those would need to be separate because they don't even resonate. They don't even fall in line with each other unless you name your donuts like electric donuts or electrified, and there's like electricity in your, I don't know. See, you can't even make it fit where it doesn't fit. A few that I actually put together. But, also when you do that, it is going to lengthen out the actual process of you getting it done, but you'll be getting more done and knocking out a lot more of your ideas. The one I want to talk about is idea versus execution. Boy, the idea versus the execution. So some things sound good in your brain. They make sense. Like, that is perfect. This idea is just, it consumes me. But when you actually have to do the footwork and make it work, how? If you have a dog grooming business and you're like, okay, well, this is my business is dog grooming. Idea sounds cool, but it's like dog grooming dogs that are in PetSmart with their owners, like a 20-minute pit stop dog, okay, how are you going to do that? The idea sounds very, cool and beneficial. Why wouldn't people want their dogs to be washed and wiped and, cleaned and while they're in the store shopping for their pets? But it's like, how would you actually do that? Would you walk around with a backpack and a power vacuum and a shampoo and conditioner dispenser and a knife and scissors? Like, how would you do that? What's the time span? Where will this take place? Will it be when the dog is in line with the owner? You really have to think about it as a whole, because also a lot of times if you can't really think thoroughly on the execution about how you're going to really get it, just leave it in your book and just come back to it. That's why I say write everything down. You can always refer back to it. It's not dead because it's in that book. Like, it helps you keep track. Execution is very crucial because you want to make sure that you're doing it right. Like me, I'm a low-key perfectionist. So I like to have things close to done as possible. So I don't have any missing parts or anything that will mess me up in the future. But I would like it to be as close to completion as possible. Definitely not going to be perfect, but I'm confident in what I'm putting out there, and there won't be any holes, or I'll have answers to everything pretty much that I'm presenting. So I'll be prepared. I do have this one idea where in theory it sounds good, but the execution is okay. So I'm going to have to get with some UI designers. I'm going to have to get with some app developers. I'm going to have to talk to these big corporations and figure out, okay, how can I get this? And then I have to deal with the FCC, and it's a lot. And I'm like, the execution of that, it can be slightly intimidating. Yes, I still want to do it, but it's going to take a lot of research first. So that's another thing. Make sure you do research in the midst of idea to execution. You also want to ask yourself, can you see yourself doing this within the next 5 to 10 years? Or maybe even the rest of your life? Do you really want to dedicate that much time to it? Are you going to get bored with it easily? Is it going to fade out? These are very important questions that you should ask yourself. If you are not really sure how much time you want to dedicate to this, or how long this is actually going to take you, like it's not every idea is going to take you a month to figure out. It might take 2 to 3 years just to get something going, just to get the ball rolling. So kind of envision yourself down the line. Okay, well, will I still be happy about this? Will I still want to do this? Will it still be something that heavily interests me? And if the answer is yes, I say go forth with it and make it into something, make it happen. But if you feel like, okay, I really, really don't want it to be anything like that, like I don't want to give up my life and my leisure and have this be my full-time job working on this particular idea or business, then you really need to sit back and reevaluate structure. A lot of people will have their whole life set on one idea that they made or one creation that they made, and they're dedicating every single day of that to that business or to that idea that they constructed. You know yourself. So if you know, like, I'm not gonna be interested in this, or even if you see your business is not going to be able to keep up with the times as 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years start to come along, if you see that your business is gonna start to fall to the wayside because it can't keep up, or because you won't be able to reinvent and innovate and keep your product or your idea fresh and new to continue to appeal to the masses, then you've got yourself a problem as well. So the last 2 things I want to close with is when it comes to your ideas, when it comes to writing them down, when it comes to sharing them. I know we live in an era where everything has to be shared, and if you're not posting it on social media, that means you're not doing it. Listen, keep it to yourself. And I say this, and I've also mentioned this in another video that I have called Moving in Silence, which I'll iCard up here somewhere. Like, people have really thanked me for all the tips that I left in that video. But keeping them to yourself and only sharing when you're comfortable. Share when you are as close to 100% completion. So if you're at 95%, just wait another 5%. But if you really feel like you can't wait that other 5%, 95% completion is cool. You can tell people. The reason I say this is because although it is your idea, people might not have their own ideas or not be able to generate their own creativity when it comes to that. So they may take your idea, your model, your concept, and try to do it. But it's like they'll try to do it. Of course, they can't do it like how you would because they didn't know how you were going to do it. But it just kind of opens a lot of room for people who are not creative, who can't think for themselves, to try to come in and like just try to beat you to the punch, pretty much. Like try to do it before you, as if it's some type of accomplishment. And when it's not even genuine to them, it's like, well, it's not even going to be the same because you don't even have the passion for it or the interest for it like I do. So I just say, just completely keep it to yourself. Like, don't even post anything about it. If you want, you can. Like, if you are starting a shoe company, you can post like you in the lab researching rubber bottom soles for shoes or something. if you want to, or just different colorways or shoestrings, shoelaces, whatever. To hear more on that topic, I would definitely recommend you check out my video, Moving in Silence, here on my channel. I want to close with also giving some encouragement. Other fellow multi-passionate, multi-creative, multi-interest people is see it as a gift, not a problem or a bad thing. You have a lot of ideas, you're not cursed. You're just super blessed. Take it like that. That's how I like to think of it. Just God bless me with so many ideas that He's gonna make sure I never run out. I never go hungry. My brain just automatically functions and goes like that. I know for a long time, I really felt like, man, why didn't God just want me to be just a one-trick pony, you know? Why do I have all these ideas? And I would get very anxious because I felt like the time was ticking for me to complete all of them and to do all of them. And once I got a pace and once I realized don't have to do all of them at one time, and I don't have to look at it as a bad thing. I'm very blessed, and you are too if you have a lot of interest. And there's so many things that you want to do, because the things that I want to do are ideas or businesses or just ways to help people. Like mainly, majority of it is just to help people. How can I be of service to someone else? How can I utilize and use my talents to uplift someone or to encourage someone or to make someone's life easier? Like, that's how I look at it. And those are definitely my perspectives on it, because I think we are truly blessed to even have our brains function the way they do. And one thing that I've always said is I don't want to leave this earth without tapping into all the talents that God has presented me with and that He's revealed to me and that He's instructed me to do. I mean, I'm not going to be out here just throwing everything to the wall that sticks. Please don't do that. But I'm also going to just keep track of the significance and the importance of this revelation to me. Like, God, why did you reveal this talent to me? How am I supposed to use it out in the world? How am I supposed to use it for you? Which way am I supposed to? So I just want to leave with that encouragement. Also, I want to say, if you too are a multi-passionate and also a person with a lot of interests, please let me know I'm not alone. Like, please. Like, I know there are more people that don't really talk about it because they think like their ideas might be stupid or it's just not worthy of talking about. But I want to know that I'm not alone, that I'm not the only person that's in here, my mind going crazy with just idea. Gotta do it. Please let me know. Also, today's featured candle is the pumpkin pecan waffles. This is not sponsored, but if you guys wanted a scent for the video, it's from Bath and Body Works. This is what my video smells like. So if you have this candle, we're smelling like Thanksgiving over here. Thank you all for watching my video. I am super appreciative of every one of you who are subscribed to my channel. I want to continue to deliver great and inspiring and also encouraging and motivational content to you all. Thank you guys for just tuning in as always, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.